This call is now being recorded.
Hello, it's Randy here. Today is January, I want to say the 25th. And I can't believe it's already been almost a couple of weeks since my last recording. Well, I'm still here in St. Lucie County Jail, waiting to go to prison. At least that's how I think it's going to work. I feel like it's always like Groundhog's Day around here because, it seems like every day is the same. So, I'm looking forward to any kind of change at this point. But, okay, so I guess I have a few updates about my case here. Like I said in my last podcast, I signed the deal for what I thought was time served. But when the court entered the sentencing order, I wasn't given all of the jail time credit on one of my charges, which basically amounted to an additional 5 years added to my sentence. As usual, I haven't heard from my attorney, despite numerous calls to his office. And I had the sentencing order sent to me from actually another legal resource, and the judge's sentence does verify that all of the counts ran concurrent. The problem is that one of them only gave me 117 days credit, out of, I guess at the date of sentencing, which was December 17th, I guess they're saying it was 117 days. But they should have given me 1,825 days credit like they did for all the other concurrent counts, which is 5 years. In other words, they should have given me the same for all of the concurrent sentence. And, as I've previously shared, I filed a motion to correct that sentence so that I can receive the proper credit. The motion was acknowledged by the court, and now we're just waiting for the state to respond. And I'm sure they'll come up with some kind of nonsense to justify this, but I really can't see how that would even work because I've spent days researching cases, and I'm definitely entitled to the same amount of credit for the time served on the concurrent sentences, especially when the allegations occurred at the same time during a single incident. But nothing surprises me anymore, with these crazy courts. So we'll see what happens. But, I think they're going to keep me here, until we have a court hearing. But they could also tell me to pack it up at any moment. So I don't know. And, I also received confirmation of my appeal of the conviction here, just in case I don't get relief with this correction of sentence and all of that. So the appeal is actually in the 4th District Court of Appeal out of Palm Beach County. Now, this is a different district court of appeal than the one from Lee County, which falls under the 2nd District. Now, the 4th DCA has a good reputation for getting things right, so hopefully that will be the case with me. If the sentence is corrected, the appeal really won't even really be completely necessary, I guess, and unless I just want to overturn the conviction. But, the sentence has already been served. However, there is this issue of the statute of limitations, which was clearly violated. So, even with that, I really wouldn't even care so much about the conviction if it wasn't for this ridiculous restitution thing that I have a hearing on next week, because it's complete bullshit. There were no damages to anyone, and now 5 years after this Manny Gonzalez guy who actually filed the documents in question has agreed to pay the restitution, they want even more from me. So, and I don't even recognize the name of the person they're saying I damaged, or people. Again, I don't have all the details. My attorney promised me he'd come to discuss it with me, but like I said, that hasn't happened. So, we'll see next week when we have the hearing. I just want this done with so I can, get out of this place, because there's an evil thing about this St. Lucie County Jail, man. It's just all about money, and they keep you here as long as they can because it's big money. I can't believe how they just keep people stuck here for years fighting cases. Now, I don't know if you've ever watched, there's a show called Locked Up Abroad. I'm sure some of you have seen it. It's on Discovery or National Geographic or one of those channels, and it's usually got someone who got caught smuggling drugs into another country like Mexico or Colombia or a Latin American country. And it's not always a Latin country, but many times it is. But obviously the conditions in those jails and prisons are far worse than anything we have here in the U.S., so I'm not comparing that experience completely, but some of these places are really just scary, and But my point is, despite how awful some of these stories are, in some cases the people locked up abroad are home before inmates who were stuck in the not the Lee County, in the St. Lucie County jail here, awaiting trial. So people just sit here for years and years, and this is even for like non-violent, non-capital cases. I mean, drug trafficking cases, for example, go on for years and years. And actually, lately, the conditions here do kind of seem like a third world country. I mean, we have to sometimes wait weeks for a change of uniform, sheets, or towels because they're not enough and they run out, and then we have to wash them ourselves, and then we have nothing to wear. And right now, none of the toilets in the dorm are flushing properly, so you can only imagine the health hazard for 42 inmates in a dorm with, seven people sharing each toilet, 42 people in the dorm, and the toilets aren't flushing right now. So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's going on. But with that being said, I am happy that my case here is pretty much completed. Once these last couple of hearings are done, I should be out of here. And, even if I have to go through with the appeal, I can do it from prison, so that would be good. But obviously my main focus is to overturn the 40-year conviction in Lee County. It's really just still hard for me to believe that, the abuse of power by the prosecutor and the judges who had this personal vendetta against me. I mean, I can tell you for sure that this kind of stuff wouldn't fly in most other states, at least I don't think, especially in places like New York. I can't imagine a judge up there with a blatant disregard for the law and due process and to do all that on the record, but, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Maybe it does, but Florida is just, it's a special place. Like the saying goes, come to Florida on vacation and leave on probation, and then come back on violation. And it's very true, though. I can't tell you how many guys, were here. They just moved here or on vacation for a week or a month and found themselves stuck in, this revolving door of the jail and prison system. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, all of these guys are angels, but, many of them have little or no criminal history, so it's just insane. But, okay, enough on that. Let me try to make this a little more positive because, the more we focus on negative, the more negative experiences we attract. And, this is certainly true, so I always try to, picture myself in nature, enjoying the outside world. I watch videos of waterfalls and birds chirping and just stuff that really just, mountains and just the sky. And, I also think about being with my friends and family. Lately I've spoken to some friends I haven't talked to in years, and that's just been wonderful to reconnect. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. And I'm not going to say names because I don't know how some of you guys feel about that. So, but, I know I've said this during my last recording, but it's worth saying again because, it just, that kind of stuff lifts my spirits in such a big way. And, I look forward to communicating with more of you, especially when obviously when I get out, but until then, when I'm transferred to prison and have access to video calls and emails and all of that. So it'll just be so much easier to stay in contact. And, I know justice will be served eventually, and God will free me in due time. So, but before I go, I just want to encourage all of you to make amends with any family members or friends you may have been at odds with or not talking with. You have to ask yourself, is it really worth it? I mean, be the bigger person and forgive if you need to. Even if you're, maybe don't think so, sometimes it's worth it. If you think you were in the wrong, ask for forgiveness. And if your apology isn't accepted, then, it's on them. But just free yourself from that burden because, life is just too short, man. It's not worth it to carry any resentment toward anyone. Trust me. This time has taught me just how precious life really is. Don't let your pride and ego get in the way of that, And I know it's easier said than done. I mean, I ask God for forgiveness every day, and that's just the easy part. I screw up every day, so I have to keep asking for forgiveness. But, it's, even forgiving the idiot who's screaming behind me right now, who's, just not a good person. But, I do. I really ask God for forgiveness every day because it's That's what's important. I've forgiven the people who lied about me and broke the law, to take my life away. That's what I struggle with. How do you forgive these people who just did these things? But I have to. I have to forgive in order to move forward and find my true purpose because, whatever that might be, I have to find what that is, and I hate to use the cliche that everything happens for a reason, but I do believe there is a master plan for all of us. If we could just take off the blinders and experience it. In my next podcast, I'm going to talk about a Pennsylvania attorney with a popular video podcast who, with the help of the Lee County State Attorney's Office, just lied about me. He defamed my character to hundreds of thousands of his subscribers. It probably reached millions of people. And I apologize for this craziness behind me, but this is the kind of thing you deal with in jail. This is a crazy place, and this is what teaches me patience because it takes every part of me not to do something about what this guy screaming behind me while I'm on the phone is doing. So, but this is just a perfect example, how we're tested all the time. But anyway, so this Pennsylvania attorney is profiting off of all these lies about me. He calls himself a legal educator, and he's teaching people about Florida laws when he's not even licensed here. Actually, there might be some legal ramifications for him in Florida, and or Pennsylvania. But then more importantly, the prosecutor's office for my case discloses information during the interview that may be able to be used as newly discovered evidence to overturn my conviction. So, I need to look past this guy's nasty remarks and rude comments and all the things he's saying about me, and I have to see the blessing in disguise. He's even edited the video to remove these segments that could possibly get him or the state attorney in trouble. But I have numerous copies of the original along with the transcript. And there's obviously a reason why certain parts were edited out, at least after the fact. They have an updated video. But rather than become emotional over the lies and terrible things being said, this man's use of my story for his own profit may end up being the best thing that could have ever happened in this awful ordeal. Maybe not, but who knows? I may be freed because of what they decided to put out there. So, my point is not to focus on the negative and just stay focused on moving forward and not falling back with regret or animosity. But anyway, I've kind of gone on long enough, I guess. Let's all just try to be better people every day and just, set a positive example for those around us, and that starts with letting go of grudges and focusing on good and letting God or the universe or whoever your higher power, whatever it is you believe, let that handle the rest, and just do our best to look out for one another because, we're all connected whether we like it or not. So, with that said, I'll say goodbye for now and just remind you to expect great things and to, find those disguised blessings because they're certainly there. Anyway, take care and be well.